Hello world, Vagabond here. A few months ago, even before I started my Chinese travel, I was just randomly watching Instagram and found videos like this, showing the place which looked absolutely surreal, some ancient town situated in the mountains, the ancient town on the cliffside basically, with absolutely incredible views over there. I'm really curious to see if it's actually like this in the reality or it's just a beautiful Instagram picture. Well, first things first, we are going to check out from the hotel where I stayed on the way to that scenic area. I'm currently in the Chinese city of Shangrao. And also let me show you the hotel room which I booked here for one night for just $13. Actually looks pretty nice. So I had a double bed just for myself and there was the bathroom. For $13, in my opinion, this is a fantastic deal. So I'm very satisfied with accommodation which I can get for very cheap in China. I wanted to ask you a question. Do you have any idea how can I get to Wangxian scenic area? Station and a high-speed rail station. Inside there is also a bus terminal. Ah, okay, so I got train station and bus. Okay, see. Bye-bye. Okay, we got the necessary information how to get to that place without basically taking a taxi, because the entire area which I'm going to visit, it is situated roughly 50 kilometers away from the place where I am right now. So we're gonna have to find some transportation. Presently, it wasn't that easy to immediately find all the necessary information how to get to that place and stuff. Well, eventually I found it. And indeed, one of the articles which I read on web claimed that I would need to take a bus from the high-speed rail station, and the lady at the reception of the hotel has just confirmed it. That's the general area where I was staying last night. My hotel was situated here, just a regular residential building actually. Some multi-story blocks of flats and stuff. Well, nothing special admittedly. But I was very surprised to know when I came here that the population of this entire city is more than 6 million people. Like, I hadn't even heard about that city, to be honest, before I figured out that I would need to stop here for the night. So I didn't have to wait for the bus for too long. It arrived within a couple of minutes. So that's how it looks. They have big buses. And this one goes directly to the high-speed railway station. Chinese cities, they generally look similar. Look at all of these high rises. You can see exactly similar blocks of flats pretty much everywhere all around the country. Literally identical houses everywhere. Okay, we made it to the bus/train station where we can potentially buy tickets for the bus to go further. See, they have the entire transport hub. This is the overpass of the high-speed railway station. This is the bus station. There they have another train station from another line. Ni hao. Okay, I go straight. Just straight. Ah, okay, see. Well, I read some articles explaining that you have to go to the bus station at the railway station, but the issue is that railway station is so big that you can spend easily an hour or two just walking around this entire area. So they did not specify what part of the bus station or what bus station exactly, because there are at least 2 bus stations. Well, I found a ticket office at this local bus station, but it's all in Chinese here. There is 0 English translation, so I can only figure out something using the translator. Without it, I'm cooked. I need one ticket to Wangxian scenic area.
Wangxian, 是吧?
So basically, I face the situation when it's the first time actually when I'm facing it, when I cannot pay with Alipay using my foreign bank card because it's not Chinese. Normally it's not an issue. I'm gonna try WeChat because some vendors, they do not accept foreign bank cards, funnily enough. Okay, WeChat worked, so good to have an alternative option for payment. Okay, see. Bus here. Next door. Alright, okay, see. Bye-bye. This is how the local bus station looks. So it's pretty okay. They have plenty of free seats. They have some shops over here, some little restaurants where you can have a meal. Some locals there basically having noodles. There must be some source of hot water to make them. Besides that, a standard bus station. Okay, we are on the bus and surprisingly it's not even full. So the journey is going to take roughly an hour, I think. And then we'll get to the terminal stop of this bus, which is going to be the scenic area. So I've been on the bus for around half an hour and I noticed two things while traveling. First of all is that there are relatively short gaps between settlements, so it looks like it's just one continuous village or rural area. And second thing is that apparently there is very developed agricultural system, because every free space on the side of the road which is flat, so basically the valley of the river for example, they do some agriculture there. So it seems that they mainly plant vegetables, but not only vegetables for sure. And if you look how rural area looks, actually it looks quite okay. So you don't see these like wooden shacks or wooden barracks which you can see for example in Russian rural area. There are some quite solid big houses, sometimes multi-story blocks, and it's still considered as a village here. Sounds like we made it to this entire scenic area. We'll need to find the ticket office to get there, because apparently the entrance is obviously paid, it's not free. There is basically a ticket office at the entrance to the scenic area where you have to buy a ticket. For adults, nowadays they cost 140 RMB, which is the equivalent to roughly $20. That's how the ticket looks. So you check in straight here, and after that you are already on the territory of that scenic area. So sounds like you're not allowed to leave it if you want to use just one ticket. So I guess I'll have to spend the entire day there as soon as I enter. 你好。发言了。请正对，欢迎光临。Okay, thanks. Funnily enough, when I was purchasing the ticket, they also photographed me. So when I just approached the gate, the barrier, it recognized me, the camera, and after that I was good to go. So it's like an advanced ticketing system, I would say. We are already on the territory of that Wangxian scenic area, which gained its popularity recently. And let's see, is it actually worth visiting, or it's just a tourist trap? Came here at around midday on Sunday in early December. It's still very warm here actually. I'm hot in my hoodie, so it would be better to just wear a t-shirt. So I would say it's still a good season to visit this place. At the very entrance to the scenic area are just some touristy sites which are not remarkable at all. They have a stage, they have some kind of the picnic area, camping zone here at the bottom of the valley. There is basically the river which forms this entire valley. All of that things, they are on that mountain, and that's basically the scenic spot which became famous on Instagram and other social media. Well, it also became famous for its night views, so I can imagine that more people come here later during the day. And one thing which has to be clarified is that it's not actually the ancient village, it's all brand new tourist attraction built from scratch apparently, just to attract money to this area, to develop tourist industry. Well, maybe some of these buildings were actually situated here before, but mostly from what I heard, it's all brand new. From the beginning of the pedestrian path, we can already see that the scenic area is actually quite scenic, even during the daytime. So this is the river which basically forms this entire valley, and on the giant mountain there is the actual ancient town. So what we can see on the background is basically a part of this ancient town situated on the hill opposite to us over there. On the bottom there is basically the river valley with a new bridge over it, and there is a section of this ancient town which is less remarkable due to its more standard architecture. There is a beautiful Buddhist temple where we can see a statue of Buddha, golden statue of Buddha, and also see some offerings left there, offerings in form of some fruits. I see oranges, apples, and also a bunch of candles. And this is the place where people get on their knees and basically pray. So we have finally reached this ancient town. One of its squares, it is situated on a relatively lower level. So what we can see here is basically a beautiful artificial lake. There is basically a part of this entire ancient town system on the opposite side of the cliff, right? This is the continuation of this ancient street, which is full of some commercial establishments basically, and something which totally looks like a temple, but definitely it's not an ordinary temple. It looks like the place for photo sessions. On the streets of the scenic area we can find a bunch of houses which totally look old, however they are all brand new. They seem to be pretty well made, so I wouldn't even say from the very beginning that they're brand new.
So if we are using the zoom lens, we can already see a portion of the ancient town situated on top of the cliff. There see this like labyrinth of passages, labyrinth of paths leading on top. So we are going to follow one of them soon to eventually get there.
This entire area is quite heavily commercialized, but if you're okay with that, then welcome to Wangxian scenic area. If you would like to explore some more authentic parts of China, then definitely it's not the place to go.
Looks like I found a deserted side street where no tourists go. Again, we can see a portion of the ancient town on the cliff from here, and also the roofs of the houses.
Basically, these are the photographs showing the life here in the past before construction of all of these touristy things. We can see some old streets and old houses, like this one, for example, looked quite poor, to be honest. This photograph, for example, this is the environment around this like river valley, and this is the construction site apparently of this new town.
Just absolutely randomly I found an interesting site illustrating some ancient machinery. So it's basically the seed grinding process. Apparently this is the way they made tea or something. Like the dried tea seed kernels are placed in a grinding mill. There is the water wheel powered by water, which drives the mill to continuously crush the tea, making them easier to process. I see so many workers on the construction site. As soon as the place is getting more and more popular, the sooner new infrastructure appears, the more money its owners can get.
We made it to one of the scenic pathways with the view of the river valley. We started from there, from the bottom, and then walked all the way up to this point. And they even have a bridge leading to the opposite side of the cliff, to basically another mountain, another cliff. Ironically, the bridge is not even the bridge, it's just the water pipeline, and there is no path, it's just an aqueduct. They basically have a gate for water over there which is open, and that creates this waterfall. So it took me a while to find a restaurant where I would have dinner. I ordered apparently a local dish, which is basically rice, which goes with ham, pork, and even mushrooms, and it's also accompanied by a little bit of salad. So this local dish is called something like Three Treasures. Three Treasures, basically ham, pork, and mushrooms. Yeah, I think it was a good choice. Definitely have to fill up the energy before climbing again to that viewpoint.
After sunset, the views are getting more and more spectacular thanks to street lights, fantastic illumination of entire area. On the background is the main part of the town, of the valley. You can even see that this unfinished section of the scenic area is also illuminated.
A remarkable viewpoint, which I for some reasons missed during daytime, is the bridge, which is built in shape of the Ottoman bridge. So it's getting a little bit like upper to its middle, and then it's going down. So from here we can basically see the main cliff where we have just gone, and also the unfinished part of this scenic area. There are some standard nighttime activities such as night markets, so this is the food street with abundance of restaurants and cafes. It all looks very clean and legit, so in terms of infrastructure, like overall development, this is like 5 out of 5. Despite the hype, I think it's actually a very cool place. So in my opinion, it makes sense to come here just to see how it can be improved, right? How nice touristy area can look. A lot of people, they like watch these videos on Instagram and TikTok and get attracted to places, but we should keep in mind that in these videos we often see some aerial footages, so footages filmed from drone, right? From the perspective which is inaccessible for a human being because we cannot fly. And we come here with high expectations, thinking that we are going to see something like that. And in the reality, we see different things, not something which is shown in these promotional videos. Best case scenario is just to come to any kind of place with no expectations, to approach any kind of thing without expectations, right? So you will not be disappointed. Okay, I safely got back to the city. The task for now is to take a local bus to my hotel, go to sleep, wake up early, and continue exploring China tomorrow. Passing such a beautiful corner full of neon lights. Could be some KTVs, like karaoke clubs or something. Some entertainment places. Maybe it's a local shopping mall. Imagine partying in Shangrao. Something which I've never done before and will probably never do anyway. Let's see, maybe there is something eatable in the convenience store. Luckily they are everywhere here, and many of them work 24 hours, so it's not a big deal. They started selling Coke with the strawberry flavor. The hell is this? I guess for food, well, I don't know, these are just some Chinese snacks which I normally don't eat. Many of them are spicy, just some basic snacks like chips. Another run of Chinese snacks. Wait, I've never tried Chinese yogurt, by the way. Maybe it's high time to do so. This one looks pretty nice. They even have some ready-to-eat meals like this. Also just put to the microwave and you're good to go. I found my hotel, so let's check in. And I will show you what $11 can get you in China. Ni hao. Trip.com. This. I don't have Chinese phone number.
没有中国号码。没关系。
Thanks.
Where are you from?
From Russia.
Russia. 俄罗斯。
Yeah, exactly. Okay. 8505. Ah, okay. Okay, thanks.
Have good time.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, very smooth check-in. Pretty quickly. I just had to warn him that I don't have Chinese phone number, because this is what they usually ask at the reception. Was given my card, some disposable slippers. The elevator only runs to the 6th floor, but I have a room card starting from figure 8, which is normally like 8th floor. Does it mean I will need to walk up a couple of floors? Well, soon we'll figure it out. Actually, I need to get downstairs a little bit. 8505, my room number. And 500, so 5, this is the floor. The card. Getting in. And here we are in our $11 hotel in the city of Shangrao, China. It's actually very, very solid. Just look at that. They even have additional illumination for the bed. A TV, sink, and the bathroom. Where is the bathroom light? We have some disposable toothbrushes and toothpaste, shampoo, body wash, water closet, some toilet paper, and eventually shower. Well, of course we are not speaking about Marriott hotel level, but $11. In Europe you cannot even afford a hostel, and here in China you can have a solid hotel room.